Okay. Can you see my screen, please? Can you give me one thumbs up? Thank you so much. Yeah, today, as I said the last time, since the last time we have already discussed what do we mean by PHP OOP, object-oriented programming. The last time we have already discussed the main concept in OOP. I said an OOP, it is style of programming that we have to deal with different classes and objects. And we have already discussed the last time what we mean by classes and objects, and we said an object is an instance from a class, and we talked about how we can construct this object after we have already implemented a class. And we talk about access modifier, which is one of the main point in OOP, that you can have a restriction to the access to different parameters according how we declare them in the classes. And then we said about inheritance, and we talk about interfaces. We have already the last time tried as a group work exercise. We tried. Zuri, do you have a question, or just still you are raising your hand? Zuri, I think that you still raising your hand. Or do you have a question? It seems not. Okay, so, and I said that based on this, I hope that you have time, the last time, to revise the last lecture. I think you were more busy with the assignment. And I said the last time that we need to apply this OOP using MySQL connection. This is what I will do today. Today, I will not discuss a new material. The assignment 2, that for me, it's very important assignment because it creates a complete life cycle, how to create a project with a database, with a session. So I needed today to do, I will discuss with you the assignment 2 solution using 2 different styles of programming. The procedural one, or the structure of the procedural one, that based on what we have already learned before. And I will use OOP syntax for my SQL connection. So today, I will review assignment 2. This is the only thing we have to do today. I will review the assignment 2. I will review the solution, giving 2 different versions of the solution. First one, the old one, as we have already discussed. And the second one is based on the applying the OOP style for this MySQL connection. So in this assignment, we will, if you remember that you will be asked first, yeah, I have already started double checking some solution that you have already submitted. I want to thank all that you have already submitted a solution. However, there is a point, most of you, not most of you, but there is a huge percentage of the delivered solution, they forget to make the session. Because based on what I have already published in the assignment, that you need that to have a login procedure and authentication, and to be sure that the user cannot go to the display and home page without having a special credential and authentication. So many of you, they have already done a good one for the connection with the database. However, if they forget the session issue. So take care for this for the next time. And today I will let you see how we can do it in a correct way. So according to the assignment, we will have an index page. This is a main page. And based on the index page, we will go to a login page. In the login page, if the credentials are okay, we will go to the home page. In the home page, you can insert data, or you can, there is a bottom you can display. So if you want to display, you will go to display page. And then in the display page, there is also an option to delete an item in the database. And finally, you can make a logout based on this. This is so we will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PHP pages. So it is a complete website. I'm not focusing in the HTML and CSS the style, because I suppose that most of you have already you have already enough knowledge about how you make a good styling based on the CIS 145 that you have already taken before. So I'm focusing more in the back office. So who is going to do a better design is good, and I motivate you that you go ahead and make an enhancement to the design and to the graphical user interface that user using different style issues. However, as I said before, this course will focus more about the back office. So this is a 7 pages. Maybe there are some pages that include HTML, some not, just PHP. I will go one by one. And where there's a MySQL connection, I will let you see how and discuss with you the old one, the procedural one, the old style before we discuss the OOP object-oriented. And I will have another version using OOP. In the assignment, you was not asked about this, so don't worry about it. You are not asked about in the assignment. You were asked to do like this in the assignment, using what you so far know about MySQLi procedural. So just to apply what we have already discussed OOP before, I make another version for the assignment and make the comparison for you, just to let you know what is the main difference between using this and this style when you make a MySQL connection. Again, the OOP doesn't mean that you will use it only in MySQL connection. The OOP, you can use it in your whole coding, that your PHP file itself will be different classes, and then you create an object and then call the function in this class. I said that when you're going to deal with a real project, it should be based on OOP concept. So let's start. First, the index page. It will be like this. So the index page, there's the person will get a form. I'm sorry, maybe, sorry, this is, yeah, this is the index page. So on the index page, the user will get a form, and this form will have 2 input, username, password. You have done this many times. And both project, either the MySQLi procedure one is the same because there is no PHP code here, just HTML code. And the action will be done for login.php. And method post, this means that the data that will be saved here or entered by the user in this form will be saved in the post array of login.php. So, and it will be in the post array using the same name, as the input tags. So the input tag name will be the key in this associative system array $post. However, this will be saved in the $post not for the index.php, for the login.php. Let's go to the connection.php. So the first one, after we will have the index, we have to create a connection.php. And we will see 2 versions now, the old one, the procedural one, and the object-oriented one. So if you are going to the procedural one, I'm quite sure you know about it. You will have a function, name it MySQLi connect. It will take 4 parameters. The first one, it will be about the server. If it is in your computer, then it is a local host. Then we'll make a username and password. The username and password will be the user. Don't mix between the username password for the server connection and the username password that you have going to do it in your database. So here just we make a handshaking. So this server that we are going to deal with it again. From the beginning, I said that there are two servers we are working with, the Apache one and the MySQL one. Don't be confused between both of them. The Apache one is the hosting server where all your files will be saved. So when I said files, PHP files, HTML files, even though some documents you are going to save it, so it is a container for all files. Plus, it had a PHP interrupter. A PHP interrupter means like it is like the compiler that will execute the PHP code in the server side and return the result as HTML. This is we have already discussed it before. And you are going to deal with a MySQL server where there is different databases, and each database you have a set of tables. And normally for each PHP project or for each website, we'll create a special number of tables based on our requirement or what we need for this project. So here in this connection to PHP, we are doing a handshaking with the MySQL server. So we want to open a connection to start sending queries. This assignment is very nice practice for different queries because you will have select, insert, and delete. So based on this, you will be asked to make this connection using either the first one, this is a node that take one, and then if this error, here this is a new. So rather than calling a function, and this function will return for us an object, here we'll use new MySQLi. There is a class already predefined named MySQLi. So here we will create an object. This is we are calling the constructor of this class. So as you remember, new, when I have a class A, I define it. So a class A, if I define it, then there, when I want to create an object A from class A, so I will make a new A. So this is a new function, which means we are creating an object from this class. MySQLi class, it is a predefined class. We didn't create it. Normally, it will be within the PHP interrupter itself. So since you have an Apache and you have a PHP interrupter, so you have all these files. And if you go now to the where it's being installed, you can find these files, MySQLi files that include the class. So here, rather than calling a function, we will create an object using a constructor. Also, take the 4 different parameters. The same here. The server, the username and password of the server, and the database that you are going to deal with it. However, here, it is an object. So if you remember that when we talk about a class, we said we have a class A, and this class A will have, for example, different variable, X, Y. When we create a new A, if you want to access the X, we will say A, we will make this sign, arrow sign, X, which means to access the variable that was defined in this class using an instance from a class small a. So there is here, in this case, we are accessing it by using this arrow in this case. Okay, so either you can use it to access this arrow, or if it is not a variable, it will be a function. Also, you can call the function, because according to OOP, Each class will have a set of parameters and a set of functions, and you will call a function using an object from the same class. And also you will access a variable for this based on, and you access a variable from this class based from instance. So con, now it is an instance from MySQL II. So connect arrow, we can access it using con object that we have created as an instance from this class. Now we will go to the login.php. In login, we select data. So based on this that we have entered in the index, so according to us, first we have always to require connection.php, the same as we did in the procedural old one in the MySQL object-oriented. And as we said that in the index page, the action was login.php, so the input tags value that being inserted were saved in the post array of the login.php. So based on this login.php, we will create a query, and this query, we will send it to be executed, and we expect a result. Again, the query syntax, it is the syntax of a query. It doesn't seem, it will not change from procedural to object-oriented, because this syntax, it's more related to MySQL language. This is MySQL language. This is it, so it is the same query here and there. So in the MySQL, when you said about select, there are more advanced query, but since this course, it is not a database course. So this is why I give some examples. However, there is more advanced queries. We will have it during when you talk about MySQL. MySQL, it is a database server that you need to communicate with the server sending different query, and you expect different reply. When I said different query, mean that query can be insert, select, delete, update. So insert mean inserting a new record in the table. Update, we don't insert a new one, just we update the value for an existing record. This is, we name it DML query, and there is something we name it DDL query. We didn't discuss it here because you have already done, you are doing this using PHP-MyAdmin. In the PHP-MyAdmin, you go and create tables. Normally, when you create tables using the graphical user interface or the PHP-admin, normally you are sending a DDL query, but you don't see it. This is the PHP-MyAdmin interface do for you. So you will be more interested to the DML query when you have to deal with the database. We're talking about select, update, delete, insert. So the login.php, since we got the username and password, we have to send this within an select SQL query to the database and see if there exists. So if there exists, we expect to have one row that matches this value. So in both styles, we will have the same query. However, this query need to be executed. In the old MySQL procedural one, we use MySQL I query function, because when you talked about procedural, the same one we to go about different language. I think that during your study plan, you will have two different courses. I think one it is 152, 155, I think so. One talk about structured program, one talk about object-oriented programming. So in structured programming, you deal more with functions, calling, and variables. We don't deal with object classes. The same here. So if you are going to go to the MySQL procedural style, as we did before, so we are going to call this function. This function will take two parameters, the connection based on here, and the query you want to execute it, and it will return a result. However, here in the object-oriented MySQL I object-oriented style, you will have going this connection object. That's, don't forget, it is from my SQLi class. In this class, there is a function named query. This function will take as an argument string query and return a result. So to call this function, we need an object from the same class where this function is being defined. Where this function is being defined in my SQLi class. So to call this function, we use this object using this sign to call this function, and it will return for us result. So result now here, for result now it is another object. This object came from a class, we name it result. So suppose this from this class. So in this class there are different parameters. One of them num rows. Here we call a function sending result, and to see if there is what is a number of rows. Here we just access this variables that's being defined. So here also another difference. So here we will see if the result has any rows. If doesn't has any rows, which means that this user doesn't have this credential, we will make a header and send him back to the index page. The same here. The rest is the same in both because there is no MySQL connection here. So the rest, if there is a result, which means that he has this credential, we will open a session start, and then we will make a flag. This flag said that we are going to put in the session array a value tells that this person has this credential, because later in different pages, we will double check this flag. It is the same when we talk about the secretary office and the COO office. We said when you will go to the COO, he will ask you about if you have already passed by the secretary office. So here in any page later, if we need that this person will not have an access to it without being sure that he has a correct credential, so we will always double check $session is logged in equal 1, because if this equal 1, which means that this user has already passed by the login page and he has a good credential to go to this page. So it's up to you what you are going to put here in this session. So maybe you put is logged in A, B, C, whatever value. It is just a flag to be sure that to double check this flag in different pages where you need that to have authentication for this. So far I think you are somehow familiar, but then now there are some change when we go to the MySQL object-oriented style. Now we will go to the home page. If everything okay, has a credential from the index page based on here, what's mentioned here, that if he has this good credential, he will go to the home page. The home page will be like this. So in the home page, the user will be asked to either to insert a new value in the database, or it will press this button and will select all the values saved, or it will press this button, it will go to the logout.php page where it will destroy the session. Whenever you want to use a session, you have always to use a session start. Doesn't mean that session start function will be used only in the login.php. Session start function, this is you have to call the session, this function session start in any place you want to use the session array. We don't use it only because based on what I have seen so far in the assignment, there are many students that they forget that when they have to go to deal with the session array in any page, they have to call first the session start. Session start either will create this session array and insert data, or if you want to access the session array, you want to call first the session start. So be careful about this. Take care for this because be careful for this and take care for this because I have seen some students that they didn't call the session start function before they access the session array. They suppose that session start should be here only called. No. In any page you want to access the session array, you have to call the session start in this case. So now here we will go to the home page. So the home page has an HTML part that does this. So we will have an input name, salary, and we have a select. And again, this is here, there is another note I want to share it with you. When you submit the data that will be saved in the post array, for example, the post array of this page, because I make the action for the same page. Here in the post array, we will have 3 values: the name, and the salary, and the status. Here will be saved what he has already entered here, and here will be saved what he has already entered here. However, in the status will be saved the value based what he has already selected, for example. So you have, based on what you define the value here, this is what be saved in the array, not what you labeled here. This is just a label. So this is a value that will be saved in the post array based on which element the user is going later to select. So you should take care about the value here. This is a value that is will be later sent to the post array. So in both projects, the HTML part is the same, nothing to be changed here. And here we have 2 links, one for the display.php and then one for the logout.php. So in the PHP part, now we have difference because we have to make MySQL connection. The procedural one. So first, again, you see that I have to call the session start first function. Even though I'm not inserting a new value in the session array, but to access this array, I need to make a session start. I saw that some students, they didn't do this. In this case, the user can access the page and you will not have this working in a correct way. So if you want to access a session array, even though you don't want to insert a new data, you have to call the session start in this case. Okay. So session is logged in, and session is logged in. Equal 1. So we are doubly checking if this equal 1. And then, since we are going to make if there is a value in the logged in session and equal 1, which means that this user has already passed here and he have a good credential. So now he can access the rest of the page. So if this correct, he will do, else he will return to the index page because he doesn't have the credential to access this page. So here, if everything okay, I will double check what was saved in the post array, and then I will get the value, and then I will create an insert. So according to MySQLi syntax, MySQLi query, it is another language. It's not a PHP. It is MySQLi language. MySQLi language. So in the MySQLi language, we can see that insert into professor. So this is the basic syntax about insert. Insert into the name of the table and the value you want to insert in this case. Again, it will be the name of the value, and maybe if we have time during the course later, I can give you more lectures about MySQLi query, more advanced lectures. it depends about the rest of the time you have in this course and what expected more material to discuss it in this course. So if we have time, I think that it would be a good, now I'm thinking about it, it would be because it seems that there are many students that didn't take the database course before this course. Saba and Gurkhan, do you have a database course before this course? Just I want to know about the study plan that you are following. So can you tell me, Saba or Gurkhan, about this, or Roji? What?
I did not take a database course.
So you didn't during your study plan before you take this course, before you have already registered this course, you didn't deal with any database system.
Not anything major to my knowledge. I don't remember doing any major database work in my previous classes.
Yeah, I
So
also didn't do any of
okay,
the
go ahead,
database.
Gurkhan.
I also didn't
Okay.
do any of the database course earlier. I just tried to use
And
that
even
Udemy. I just did some extra stuff on it. I did,
access.
yeah, extra stuff. Like I
Okay.
got some free time. Attended some of the lectures on it for the database, like how to use it.
So do you believe that based on what we have already discussed in different examples, do you believe that we need to go further more in this?
Yeah, I think it's more a lot interesting while like uh, listening to your lectures and the concept. I got some doubts from the previous ones, like they were not much clear on it, but from these I got a much more clearance, and I believe yeah, we could be like more. We could do something more innovative as well. I think it would be there in
Okay.
future.
So what about you, Saba? What do you think? Saba, are you still here? Saba, can you hear me?
Sorry, I just cut out. What was the question? Sorry.
Do you believe that we have to go more advanced in discussing more database stuff?
I think that would be helpful, especially if it's going to become more database heavy towards like progressing into the course. I feel like that would be very helpful in our case, just because I know everyone here mostly has not worked with databases very heavily. So I feel like if we had some more on it, that would be great.
Okay, so even though it is out of the scope of the course, however, I will do it. I will try maybe to have a lecture about MySQL database system and then how we can more advance the queries and go more about the structure of the MySQL. So that maybe you need more to know about the basic syntax about it. I will, I will do it in this case. Maybe I will have a lecture for this. I will double check now about the plan, about the rest of the weeks. I think that we will finish 10th of December. I double check the academic calendar. 10th of the December will be the last day in the teaching, yeah? 10.
Yes, and then we would have finals week right after, going from until the 18th, I believe.
Yeah. So I think that we will have almost about 4 weeks. I will double check, but I think, yeah, I will help you in this case to prepare more advanced example about database system because it's very important. It is very important that you can't create a database, a dynamic website without having a connection with the database. And in the website, sometimes you will have you need more advanced query, because what so far we have already discussed is it is a simple query, but sometimes there were more advanced query that talk about connection between different tables, which means that sending a query at the same time for two different tables. Okay, I will do this. I will have more advanced lecture about MySQL query. I will prepare it maybe next week for this. Maybe it would be somehow helpful for you in this case. Okay, let's continue here. So here in the insert to professors, sorry, Roger and Ziwi, if you are here, I also would be happy to know about your feedback about having more advanced stuff concerning database in this course. Ziri, are you here? And Roji, are you here?
Yes, sir.
So do you want to give us feedback about this discussion? What is your opinion in this case?
I had learned database before. I think it's very important.
You have learned before here in the UFV or in another place?
I had learned it last segment.
Last semester?
Yeah.
What was the name of the course?
Database management system.
Okay, do you know, can you share with us what kind of database system you deal with it?
Yeah.
So it was about what? MySQL, MySQL, the SQL, Access one, old one. So what it was? Do you remember?
Not active.
No worry. So, Ziri, do you want to add anything for this subject? Thank you, Roger. I think we should add more database knowledge. Okay. Okay, no worry. I will do it. Maybe next week I will do it. Go deeply about my SQLi query. What is a structure? What different query you can maybe find it here. Yeah, I will do it. Maybe next week it will be about my SQL. We talk about more about my SQL queries. I will go deeply in it. Maybe it just will be more. It somehow will extend your knowledge about database system, and you need it in a dynamic website. So that return to here. Thank you so much to sharing this with me. I like this discussion because I need to have your feedback in order to have a better material in this case. So insert into professor's value, we said here, we create the queries. And then if it is a procedural one that, as we did before, we use a function, we name it MySQLi query. The same function that we use into the login page, it will take two parameters, the connection object and the query itself. However, here, if we will do it as MySQLi object-oriented, it will be, we are going to call a function named query. To call this function, we need to have an object named com. So this is why I do it. So the query itself, it is the same because it is, I said it is SQL syntax. Executing the query will differ. Either we will call a function named MySQL query, or we call a function using an object connection. Here we set the object as a parameter within the function. Here we use the object to access a function that is defined in the class that we create. Is this object an instance from this class? So here, this is homepage. We'll insert a new values. And there is also people maybe like Saba who joined me in the virtual office. It was clear to him because also I see that many of you didn't take care for this concerning insert into professor's values. I send here null because according to the database structure that we have it, we will have 4 attributes in the table. The first one talk about the SSN, social security number, and then there are another one named status and salary. So if you are dealing with a table in the database, you want to insert a value in it. So writing this query insert into professor using this syntax values. So if you use this structure of a query, so you have to send 4 parameters. However, in our structure, we said that the SSN should be auto increment. Auto increment means that this value, the SSN value, we will not insert a value for this. However, it will be automatically increment, which means that the last value that we have it, since it is integer, it is a +1 for the new record. So this is why we send it null, which means that we will not send a special value, but we should send for attribute the same like as the structure of the database in this case. So you don't have to send a special value, just send null, but you have to send null, or you will get an error in this case, because you, in your structure in your database, you mentioned as if it is, as I said, as if it is, not as if it is auto increment in this case. Okay, now we will go the display, because according to the home page here, where it is, sorry. So in the home page here, you can save and it will go and see and insert the data as we have already discussed. And there is another here, a link. This link will let us go to display.php. Also in the display.php, I will be sure that he has this credential. So the same I'll do on the home page. I will call the session and double check if he has a session. And in the display now, we will not insert, we will select like that we did in the login page. However, in the login page, we will select base and condition. Here we select everything in the table. So this is why we use select the star from professors. So based on this select the star query, again, I have in the procedural one, we will do it using function MySQL query, the same function that was used here. MySQL query. This function, it is a PHP function, as I said before, that we use it to execute a query. So you write a query, then you will execute the query. Executing a query, either if you go to the procedural style, you need MySQL query function, or you call a function named query within a class, MySQL class. In order to call a function in a class, we need an object in the OOP style. So we will do it like this. Here, if we go to the MySQL procedural style, we will go to the MySQL use function fetch, and we will go line by line. Here, again, in OOP, you are going to call a function from a class. To call this function, you need an object from the same class. So we use the result, because in the result class, there is a function named fetch association. This fetch association, we call it, and then we will get the same result here, fetch row, and then we will go to make then echo. This is one to print line by line. Here there are people here also doesn't know how to do this. Delete, because according to here, I should when I get the value from the database, I got this value from the database. According to my table, there I have four attributes in the my database: the social security number, the auto increment, the name and status, and salary. And there is the fifth attribute. We name it delete. The fifth attribute that we name it delete one. It will be that we will go ahead and delete, and then based on this delete, I will make another hyperlink. You see here, this I will create a hyperlink that will go to the delete page. However, when I want to delete later this record, when I go to the delete.php, I need to have the key of the table, because later I will make another query. This query said delete. So in order to delete, I will not delete star, I will not delete everything. I will delete a specific record. Based on X, I have to, if I press here, so I have to delete the record that has as SSN this number. So how I can send this value to the delete one? I have two choices. This is the easier one, however, it is not a secure one, because this can be seen in the upper, in the browser up. So when the user is going to press the hyperlink, I can send it with the hyperlink a value. And this, I said a variable I and put the SSN value for this record here. Here, this value will be saved automatically in the get post of the delete page. Okay, now a question. So when I go later to the delete page, like I want to delete this one, so in the delete page, I can go ahead and read it from the get one. Because why it is stated in the get? Because we send it with the link of the page. So if you do like this, send with the link of the page, a parameter, it will be saved in the get, not in the post. Before, when we make a form and we put an action on another page, and the method will be post, so it will be saved in the post array of this page. Here, if we send with a link a variable, it will be automatically saved in the get array. There is another way to do this. Anyone know how we will do it? Who will give me the reply now will get a bonus. We will not have a group work today. I will give a bonus for this question. I will, Saba, Kogan, Ziwi, Roger, I will repeat the question. My question said that here for this hyperlink, here. When we create this hyperlink, then user press this hyperlink, it will go to the delete.php according to this code, and I will send a variable SSN that I needed later to the delete query. And this variable that I will use it in the delete query, I can get it later here using get array. My question said that, can I have another way to send the SSN value from the display.php to delete.php? If there is another way I can use it, who will give me an answer now will get a bonus in this. Gurkan, do you have an answer for this?
I'm figuring it out. That's all right.
Saba.
I'm trying to figure it out as well.
Roger. Are you still here, Roger? Can you hear me? And Zui also. So I will still. You are still thinking or searching online? You will not get it so easy if you search online because it's a very specific one. It's based on what we have already learned, and I will give you a hint. And it's based on something what we have already used here also. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up. I will tell you how we can do it. This is session array. Gurkan.
Yes, sir.
Session array, it is an array that we use it to put a special value after we started with a login page, yeah?
Yes, sir.
And this value, we can access it in any page after we call session start, like what we did here. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So I can use this session array here, and I can add a new value to the session and put, for example, SSN, and put $SSN here. And in the delete page, I can go ahead and read the session and get the value. Do you agree?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yes, we could like do it
Yes.
that way as well.
Yeah, so this is why, and this is more secure. Because if we send the value with the hyperlink, the user can see it up in the browser header. However, if you send in the session array, it will be from the server side, the user can see the data. So if a data has a special privacy, don't send it like this, using the link. You can, as simple as, send it in the session array or the cookie. So session, we use it to save data in the login page as a flag and double check it in different pages to be sure that the user has a special authentication. And also we can use it to share different data between different pages, because this array is accessible by different pages. Any PHP page in this project want to access the session array, if it was not destroyed, just call session start and you can access the data, the values in this session array, you can get it. Don't forget, so in this case, the session array or cookie array, you can use it to share different values within different pages. Is it clear, all guys?
So like this, like in this session, it would be stored in the login.php?
No, yeah, no, not login.php. The session array, it is not related to a special page.
Mm-hmm.
So in the login page here in the login page, return to the login page. In the post array of the login page, this is being saved. In the post array of the login page. Because when we go to the index, here in the index, we said that the post for the login page. So this is value is in the post array of the login page. It is not in the post array in other pages. So we can't access this value out of the login page. However, the session array, it is not related to a special page. It is from a new server that it is not related to a special page. It is a system associative array that can be used by different file in your PHP project. You got it?
Yes.
So this value session XYZ, for example, that I put it here, I make an echo welcome session XYZ. So I can access this value here in the home page, even though the value I have already inserted in the login page. So here in the display, and before I go to the delete, in the display.php, I can go ahead, for example, and in the dollar session, I can save, for example, the SSN value that I said $SSN, put the value here. After this user press it. So here, I can add here a PHP code. I am here within the PHP code because it's here. So I can here, before I will go to the delete one, I can make a line here. And make, if it is, for example, dollar, whatever it is, put a session value, if I want. Maybe now it is easier to relate it to the user when he presses the button so you can get it. You can get the value in this case. But still, you can add in your session array any value, and here in the delete, in the delete one, you can go ahead and read this value. But what we did, since the SSN value that we are going to delete it is not somehow privacy data that maybe we will not be concerned with it. And again, this value is somehow related to the record that we are now pressing the delete. So we use it as using sending with the link. So in this case, and then we can get it from the get. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. I get a point.
Okay, so let's go return now. So after we press this delete, we will go to the delete one. In the delete, we will read from the get I. Why it is now the get I? Because when we go to the link here we will make an ISSN. So we put I. So it will be saved automatically in the get array. And now we are going to execute the delete query. The standard syntax of the delete query, MySQL query said delete from table name. If there is a condition, we will add it, where the condition where SSN equals the SSN that we want to delete it. So till here they are the same in two styles, nothing changed here. However, again, if you are going to execute MySQL I query, because this is the function we use to execute a query, This will take to one. Here, there's another one named query. To call this function, we need an object. So based on this line, we can execute the query, either procedural style or object-oriented style. And then we will go to the header one. After we finish the delete, to display the data after deleting the new record. And again, there is a logout. Logout, nothing changes above because there is no MySQL. It's just we call the session start. We change the value, put 0 rather than 1, and then we destroy it, and then we'll go to the index page. I will run the system now with you. So let's go first. This is the procedural one, having the procedural code that we like here, MySQL I connect in the home page here. I have here using MySQL I query, and here in this home page I use the, as I have already discussed now. So both of them should have the same one. So I will go run the system now. I'm sorry. So let's run it here. Here it is. So first I will start Ismail Hello. I name it this, the database. I will go to the database to be sure that I has a local host. PHP my admin. So in PHP my admin localhost in the school table, we have two table user and professor. In the table users, go to the structure. In the processor in the browse. So in the browse I have Ismail Hello. So if I put Ismail Hello, it is a good credential. So this is, I write hello here. So now I went to the home page. In the home page, I will display all tables in the database. In the professor database here, go to the browse. So I have only one record, test professor 111. So here, this is what was displayed. So now if I will insert test 2, salary 2222, I also give it professor, save it, return back to the database. So now it's being inserted here. You can see here this test 2 professor 222. So now I will go to display.php. I'll get 2 records in the database. So if I press here, I will delete this record from the database and it will return back to the display.php with the new data. Before we delete, double check. We have these 2 values, 2 record here. So now I will delete. So pressing this, you can see here, down at my screen, go to the down the corner left one. So you can see here assignment delete. Here you can see this when I put the cursor here. Go down and see it here. You can see here delete.php i344 at the down of the my page. It's because this is a link with here with this here. So I deleted it. Go to the database now. It is deleted. Let's delete also this. So now go to the database. Nothing. Back again. Oh, sorry. The session is being expired here. Then now test 3. Salary 333. Professor save. And then display all professors. So okay. Now, so we will we said display all professors deleted. We have already done it. Let's now go to logout. Logout also it will the same what we have already done. So if you will go now to the OOP one, I run it also. Let me close this also to be sure that. So if I will go to the OOP now, let's run it again. So in the OOP, here I should write Ismail hello. If I write, for example, not hello, whatever it is, not hello, so I shouldn't enter. Okay, so if I write now Ismail hello. Now I entered. According to what's saved now in the database, we have only one record, test3. So if I will display, I got it. Now, if I deleted it, and I'm in the OOP one, returning to the database here, browse, it's being deleted. So both of them now they are working style. If I, for example, now I close, if I close the browser, the session is being destroyed because I didn't make a logout. But even so, either session will be destroyed in two cases: either you close the browser or you make a logout according to our code. So now, if I will go, for example, to a display.page, so it will not go to display.page; it go to index because I don't have a session. This is why this is very important. These two pages, the user should not able to access them without having a login. In order to there are like the same when you go to UFV, if you go to my class directly, so you will be returned to the login page. This is what I want to discuss today about how you can write this two different. First about the assignment. Two. Now you see how the code should be done. I hope that all of you have done it in a good way. I forgot, I double checked some solution, but I forgot I didn't memorize the name in my mind. And now today we do it using two style, the procedural one and the OOP style. The next time, maybe we'll have a group work exercise. And I will go ahead and have more advanced SQL. Maybe next time we'll not talk about a web program, we'll talk more about database to help you to be more familiar with database system, especially MySQL database, because it's being used in different web programming, especially for online websites. Do you have any question for me today? Today there is no group work exercise. Next time we will have a group work exercise. Do you have any question for me today? Gokan, Saba, Zubi, Roger. So if you don't have any question, I need 2 thumbs up to leave you today. Or like all of you stay. Okay. Saba, he has some stuff to do it, so he has to finish and go so quickly today. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye all, yeah. Like always, when you need anything, just drop me an email or you can join the virtual office. Bye-bye.